Well, here we are. We're at the magic three-step close technique I want to teach you. Now, closing is the difference between being successful or being a failure in sales. It doesn't matter what you do, if you cannot close, you will not be successful. No one cares what great conversations you have. They care about what revenue you bring in. They care about what the money. They want to know what this guy's doing to prove his value in being here. And there's hundreds of different ways of closing. And I'm going to be honest with you, there's so many techniques, and you as a sales professional, you need to make sure you go learn as many of them as possible. And the best way is you just go find one and use it and see how it works. There's loads I could teach you, but what's really clear for me is I've worked with over 300 people. Some people come in with their own toolkit, they know how to close. Some people just come in and they have no idea. They just think people are magically going to buy. It don't work like that. You've got to ask for the order. So what I did is there's always this one sales technique that I teach everyone that's ever worked for me because this works. And it's so simple in what it is that people have to use it. And it's great because it's a real good confidence builder to open them up to the other techniques that you can teach them. But it's really important that you have at least one way of closing a deal to start with. You need to make sure you've probably got about 5 or 6 as learned as quickly as possible. But for here, I'm just going to teach you one. I'm going to teach you one very, very simple one. And it's called the three-step close. And it's very, very simple. So here's what you do. You've gone through the rest of the steps of the closer's code, and if you've done it properly, throughout that process, the customer has told you things that they definitely don't want, and they've told you things that they definitely do want. So what you do is, once you put your offer on the table, and you want to know, right, how do I get them to sign? How do I get them to go to the credit card? It's quite simple. You go, so here's the offer. I just want to clarify a couple of things for you. Just to clarify, you really want this to stop happening again? Yes, John, that's correct. And you really want this? Yes. And you really need to do this right now because of this? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Then you go, great. Here's what we're going to do next. What I need you to do is go get your credit card, sign the contract here, here, and here. Do you see what I mean? Very, very simple. If you've listened and been really curious and found out exactly what you need to know, all you need to do is to summarise. Go, hey, Leo, great, we've gone through this. Let's just summarise. You absolutely have to make sure that this never happens again in your business. Yes, that's correct. And you've told me that your goal to achieve is this. Is that correct? Yes. And you've told me that your deadline to do this is by this date? Yes. That's great, John. Here's what we're going to go do next. Can you go ahead and give them a very clear action? So unbelievably simple. Can you see how you can go and use that right now? Just make sure at the end of everything you've done, it's time to ask for the order. You stay strong, you stay 10 out of 10, and you just ask 3 clarification questions where they have to say yes, yes, and yes. And if you've done your job properly, if you've done exactly what and you've really identified exactly what they're trying to do, you're not lying, you're not doing anything unethical, this is perfectly ethical. Because you're actually avoiding giving them any buyer's remorse, because you're actually clarifying to them exactly what they're going to buy. And you're doing it in a very smooth, effortless process. So what I want you to do is just go use this straight away, because I know you're going to come back and tell me, wow, John, that's unbelievable how quickly that worked for me.